But I mean, to me, like, you know, you have to be philosophical about these things. I mean, at first, like, when I found out, you know, I was upset. But then, you know, I really started to think about it, you know, and plus I drank a lot of whiskey. And then afterwards,
the edge off it a little, I'm
yeah,
guessing.
I just thought, like that. But then the next day I sobered up and I remembered, you know, that I still had some whiskey left.
So you went right back to it.
And one of the things that you did on Saturday Night Live was the Letterman impression.
Right.
Did you have to clear that in any way or check it out?
Well, not legally, but...
No, but I mean, just as a courtesy, you know.
Yeah, I told him, yeah, I won't do it if you don't want me to do it. You know?
Yeah.
Because I have, like, great respect for him. I didn't want to do it in any way insulting, so I just tried to do an exact impression with no comment on it, you know what I mean? And then Letterman phoned me, and he said he was okay with it, you know.
Oh, good, good.
Yeah, so I felt better about that.
You say you did 3 or 4. I'm not familiar with the others that you do.
I do the Bob Dole.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Slim Pickens.
Yeah. I like the Bob Dole. Now, did Dole take umbrage at all? Do you think he ever got upset with it?
No, he loved it. He used to phone me and stuff, and he always wanted to come on the show. He came on the show at the end and everything. Yeah. Because I liked him, too. I can only do impressions of guys I really like.
Wouldn't you love to ask Dole, like, when he was doing the commercial for what they now call erectile dysfunction?
Yeah.
And I mean, how do you feel when you sit down and do that kind of a commercial? I mean, it's going to be a little embarrassing, you know.
I don't feel that an old man should have erectile function.
Were you ever like a bonehead? Did you ever do punk stuff when you were a kid?
Well, when I was young, I was crazy. Like, I'd do anything, you know.
Really?
Yeah, it's just like, because you're young, you don't care, you know, you don't have a job or anything, right?
Yeah, sure.
You're just drifting around from town to town. Right, no. But I remember one time, like, because I used to do, like, you know, like for the purposes of this show, like beer, you know?
Have a little beer?
Yeah. And, so I was, like, ripped out of my mind on this beer. It was like... It was like that beer that where you'd, like, hallucinate, where you had so much beer, you know?
Got some really good beer.
Yeah, it was good beer. So I remember I went to this place. There's this place that in Canada called Ottawa.
Yeah. It's the capital. It's the capital of the country.
It's the nation's capital, yeah. And so they have this thing every year. It's called the Panda Game, right? And it's
Panda?
Panda, like an animal.
Yeah, sure.
And so, but they just call it that. It has nothing to do with pandas. So it's the University of Ottawa versus Carleton University. It's the two universities, and they play a game against each other.
Crosstown rivalry.
Game. That's it.
Yeah.
And so everybody goes and gets parties up and they drink and they do beer and then they do some more beer and everything, you know? And sometimes they mix the beer with the beer.
Oh no. It's dangerous, isn't it?
It is.
Have to be very careful.
So I went to this thing, and the thing about the Panda Game is it's just a big party, and every year somebody does something crazy, you know? Like the engineering students from one of the things, like one time they put a bunch of greased pigs on the field.
Oh, yeah.
And they had to chase the greased pigs.
College pranks.
Yeah, college pranks. One year they made a big slingshot, giant one, and they shot like water balloons over to the other side to hit. And so every year, everybody wonders, hey, I wonder what's going to be the big prank.
Yeah.
So then I was there. I was really wrecked, you know? I was like, and so in my head, right, I go, I'm going to figure out the prank to do. I'm going to be that guy, you know? And so I'm walking around. I'm no good at pranks, you know? And I'm walking around the stadium, and I'm trying to think, and I see, you know where they sell the hot dogs, the hot dog stand?
Yeah.
There's a big, like, mustard thing where you push on the top.
The big pump, sure.
You know those big yellow things? And you push on the top to get some, for your delicious hot dogs and mustard?
Yeah.
So I go, I'll grab this hot dog mustard thing. And so I grab it, and I'm like walking away, and I get back to my seat, and I go, my idea was I'll chuck this giant mustard thing onto the field, and then it will cause a big mustard stain on the football field. And I thought that would be really cool, because mustard is hard to get out. And so I get there, you know, but I'm really wrecked, and I get there and I go, and plus I was way up, like way up. I would have had to have superhuman strength to get that thing down. And I don't have superhuman strength.
No, just a guy.
I'm just a guy, And so I take up the mustard, I go, ha! And I throw the mustard up, right? And then the mustard just goes up a little way, and then I see like the top like starts spinning off of it. And then this mustard all comes out. And then I just see all these guys like right in front of me, And then so my buddy goes, run, run, run for your life, So I start running like this. Oh, God.
And that's it.
That's all sorry.
Norm, you had a couple of beers before the show, didn't you? This weekend on Saturday Night Live, Rob Lowe and the Spice Girls plus Joe Pesci. Now, got a couple of seconds. Go ahead, do it. Let me see it.
What?
Come on, let me see it. Just a little. Just a little.
What's that?
Just a little. You know what I'm talking
What
about.
would that mean?
Just let me see a little of it. Come on, Norm. Come on.
I got to do it with Paul.
All right, do a little with Paul.
Me as myself?
Yeah,
Somebody
you
could play
gotta
me?
play yourself.
All right, I'll play myself.
Oh, God.
Yeah, cool. Not so easy when I'm sitting right here, is it, big shot? There we go.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah,
I'm not ready for this.
No, I know you're not ready now, no. You're ready on your little show, but you're not ready here. You got all week to get ready on your little show.
Okay.
Here we go.
So it's like,
Yeah, here we go.
who's going to be the...
I don't know. Oh, Rob Lowe. Rob Lowe and the Spice Girls. Joe Pesci.
Yeah, Paul, Rob Lowe and the Spice Girls are being... Do you enjoy the Spice Girls, Paul?
Spice Girls, yeah.
Yeah, well, they'll be on the show. Yeah. And Paul, do you watch the Saturday Night Live show?
Yeah.
What time is that on now, Paul?
Huh?
I say, what time would that be on?
It's like 11, it's live, I think.
Yeah.
MacDonald.
Now, when he puts you on the spot like that, to do the impression right in front of the man, it's got to be a little scary, huh?
Yeah, it was very scary, and because I had just done it on Saturday Night Live the week before, and when I came on, I was sure. I said, Dave's going to ask me this question. So everybody that works at the Letterman show, they all know Dave.
Yeah.
So like, I know Dave, he won't ask you. So I'm like, all right. So it turns out they don't know Dave. And, I, as a casual viewer, turns out know him better.
When you're not working, what does Norm like to do?
What do I like to do? I like to travel, Tom.
I heard you didn't.
Well, for the purposes of, I didn't know, I actually like to drink, but I mean, for the purposes of this wraparound.
We are backstage, and it is a wraparound, yeah.
I thought I'd talk about the travel thing. Because soon, we'll be seeing a clip of that.
Is that right?
Me talking about travel.
Is there a mode of travel that you prefer? Flying versus trains, driving versus...
I like to drive a car. I mean, I like to fly a plane. I do not like to drive a car because flying is very safe, whereas driving is extremely dangerous. Driving a car.
True. Statistically, at least, what you say is true.
And just from your eyes, anecdotally, if you're driving along, hey, what do you see? A giant crash, right, of a car. You never fly a plane. You never see wreckage on a mountain or anything like that. You see constantly car accidents, and yet you think that could never happen to me unless I was here a minute and a half earlier.
That's right, but you, in your own way of looking at things, have determined that driving is not safe, and therefore you...
I don't drive.
You don't drive at all?
I don't drive, no. I don't know how to drive, and I will never drive in a car.
How did you get here today?
Oh, yes, well, I ride.
You had some time off. Have you taken some vacation? Have you gone anywhere, traveled?
Yeah, I went. I wanted to get away from all the showbiz, crazy showbiz.
Yeah.
So I decided I'd go on a vacation,
Great.
And I don't like to go to hotels because all my years of doing my nightclub act, I don't like hotels.
Yeah.
So I decided I'll go, my buddy tells me, he goes, hey, you should go to one of them bed and breakfasts. You ever hear tell of them?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. The idea is you go there, it's a guy's house, and you live in his room, and then he makes you some breakfast.
Right. Very...
Yeah. It's a thumbnail,
Yeah, that's it, sure.
So I looked one up on the internet there, and I found one. I went to Vancouver Island, Victoria, which is beautiful. Oh,
Lovely,
my
yeah.
God, it's God's little country. And so I go there, and I look up my place where I'm supposed to go. I have it on a little piece of paper, and I knock on the door, right? And there's no answer. So I knock again, and there's still no answer. So finally, I look like in the window there, and there's an old man sleeping on a couch, you know?
Yeah.
So I bang on the door, ringing the doorbell, you know? So finally I hear like, hey, keep your pants on there, you know, from the inside. And he comes to the door, old guy, you know, but I'd say 80, 85 years old.
Yeah.
Old Harold Delaney was his name.
Harold Delaney.
Yeah, nice enough gentleman, you know. And so I get in there and I says, well, I better go to sleep. There's no one else there, you know. Like, I thought it'd be like a whole bunch of people in different rooms, you know.
Yeah.
And it was just me.
Yeah.
So I go up and I go to sleep, and I'm ready to go to sleep, and a knock comes on the door, right? A knock on my bedroom door.
Right.
So I figure, uh-oh, old Harold Delaney wants to have sex with me there, you know.
That's the first thought that went through your mind, huh?
Well, I'm a young fella.
Yeah,
These days,
you're
anything
not a
goes.
bad-looking guy, sure, yeah.
I'm not a...
Traveling alone, why
Sure.
not?
And, of course, I didn't come to Victoria to have sex with old Harold Delaney. You know? I came to do some sightseeing.
Of course.
Yeah. So, then I hear him, he goes, well, you ought to play some Scrabble.
Oh, Scrabble.
Yeah, so I say, okay, that's good.
Sure.
I'll play some Scrabble. So I go down, and he pulls out this old Scrabble game there, and we start to play, you know, and I like Scrabble, you know. So I get the first turn, you know, because I picked the lower letter, and so I get the first turn. So I make rabbit, you know.
Pretty good.
It's a good word. And then I do it pretty quick. I take like a couple of minutes, and then old Harold Delaney, he takes like a half hour to like get his word, and the whole time he's not talking, he's not telling me old stories, because I like hearing old stories, you know. And instead, it was like for a half hour, it was just Harold Delaney going. So then after a half an hour of that, you know, I'm just sitting there, he comes up with his word, it's hat. That's his word, yeah. Hat. So he puts it, and he takes the word hat, and then he puts it like way in the corner on that triple letter score.
Right.
The triple word, the red one
Right.
that you want to get to.
Yeah, sure.
But you can't just put it there.
No, it's got to have some relation to rabbit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to move up there, you know, and finally get to there. But instead, he just puts it right there.
Oh, no.
So I go, all right, you know. And so then it's my turn, you know, I do something, and quickly, and then again, the same thing, like, you know, and then time going by, and then every word, and I was coming up with good words, you know, I had sleigh, you know, a sleigh ride, and avocado.
Whoa.
It was a 7-letter word.
Yep.
You get 50 extra points. I'm still way behind him.
He's just freelancing the board.
Yes. And so finally I decided I'm gonna I gotta say something, you know? So and all his words were like cup and hat, and I think it was just like things he'd see around the room, you know? And so I'm playing excellently. I should be in the lead, but instead I'm like 1,000 points behind. And finally, like I gotta say something, you know? So he puts boot, you know, up on this triple, and it really annoyed me because I was building towards the triple letter, and he just puts boot, and so I said, finally, I gotta say something here, and I go, hey, old Harold Delaney there, I don't know, you can't put boot there, and then he goes, you never heard tell of a boot? So I go, no, I know what a boot is. I'm just saying. He goes, if a fella goes out there, has to wear a boot. So I go, no, I know I made avocado. I know a boot. You know? And it just took him forever. And I also I noticed a weird thing. There were no blanks. You know how you have the blanks in the game, and it's always good to use any letter, right?
Yeah.
I realized there's no blanks in this game, and I figured old Harold Delaney must have, when he got the game, figured, what the hell is that, you know, and thrown it away.
Can't use it.
Yeah.
You know, all afternoon, as we do this, you've been playing on and off with a cigarette. Do you smoke?
I quit smoking a year ago.
Good for you.
Thank you. You quit smoking?
Yeah.
And you, when you smoked at the Tomorrow Show,
We puffed. We didn't smoke. We puffed.
you probably caused many children to start smoking.
So you hold a cigarette and you never light it.
Yes, it helps me. I have an oral fixation, the doctors tell me. That never... I'm like Beretta. Hey, one time, you remember that time? This is really funny. This is one of the funniest things I ever saw on your show, was when Robert Blake came on and told that huge bull story. Remember that?
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
you couldn't even
We
believe
did it
it.
about
You're
6
like, "What?"
times, as a matter of fact, yeah.
It was hysterical.
Now, Don Rickles joins us shortly here on tonight's show. You know Don. You worked with Don,
God,
I'm
he's
sure.
a great man.
You did a movie with Don.
I did a movie with Don, yeah.
Don.
Everyone makes mistakes.
Of course. Slip of the tongue, right?
So I was with Don, and he was hysterical. He's one of my favorite guys, so funny. And we did this long take in the movie where, because we hadn't really written that much, we figured we'd get Don Rickles. He'd
Sure,
just
yeah, wing it.
go
Ad
nuts
lib your way through it, sure.
and help us with the film. So he started just insulting everybody, but then he started to run out. And at one point, I was standing beside this other guy, a fat guy, and he goes up to, sometimes he just says stuff that makes no sense, right? And he goes up to the guy beside me and he goes, look at you. You look like a whale in Alaska, you know?
Yeah.
So that was a good thing. And then he comes up to me, and he's completely out. You can see in his eyes, he can't think of anything. He goes, look at you. Look at you. Why don't you go to Alaska and suck on a whale? You know? So I said, hey, that sounded a lot like that, what you just said to that guy.
Yeah, right.
And then he got real mad. Then he had like 20 of them.
We're back with Norm MacDonald, and I'm sure you're enjoying every hour of our time together. Richard Simmons was to have been here tonight, but Richard is out helping people lose weight in the Dakotas tonight, so he couldn't be here. Do you work out yourself? Are you an exercise person?
No, I got one thing. I got the abs of steel.
Oh, you do? Really?
No, I don't have them. I got a tape. I didn't even know what abs were. I never know.
Or why they're called that.
Yeah, or what you need them for, or anything.
Yeah, like how are your abs?
Yeah, they're like steel. And you still have to go to work. I don't know what you just show people? I don't know what you do with them. You know, they used to have the buns of steel with the ladies.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, and that would hurt.
And the what was the one Suzanne Summers, the Thigh Master?
The Thigh Master, yeah. Wasn't that your nickname for yours?
Not at all.
I thought it was you.
But I just wonder how you come on and you say, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to buy a product called the Thigh Master.
Yeah.
Or the guys who sat around a meeting table and said, we'll call it the Thigh Master.
Right.
Say, yeah.
Don't they have the Ass Master? That was your nickname. I thought they had the Ass Master.
This ain't cable, kid.
I know. That's great.
And how about the time
I was a door-to-door salesman.
Did you really? What'd you sell?
Doors. It never worked out.
What other jobs have you had besides actor and comedian?
I was a town drunk, village idiot.
No, but be serious for a second.
Yeah.
Did you ever wait table or drive a cab or something like that?
I did. I don't drive, but
right.
I worked.
Did you ever ride cab?
Right. It doesn't pay well, though. I did a lot of manual labor. Did all manual labor.
Really?
Yeah.
Like brickwork?
Brickwork, I did, yeah.
You're making all this up as we go, aren't you?
No.
That whole thing that we showed about the Scrabble game, you made that whole thing up,
No,
did you?
no. That was truth. Truth is stranger than fiction.
You
I
said
keep
that.
trying to tell you that.
Heavy lifting?
I did a lot of heavy lifting. I moved furniture. That's a hard job,
Yes, it
moving
is,
furniture, because the stairs are never right for the contours of the giant couch that you have to lift up. But people that I worked with, man, they loved lifting furniture.
Yep.
One time, this is an interesting story time. It's probably too long, but I was working with an old guy, old guy. His name was Gus, and we had to move this thing up a ladder, see, to a balcony, because we couldn't get it up the twisting spiral staircase.
Okay.
So we have to go outside and put a ladder up. So old Gus, he's on the balcony, you understand?
Yep.
With a rope holding this giant refrigerator.
And abs of steel.
And abs of steel. I'm on the bottom, climbing up the ladder, pushing the
refrigerator. Yeah.
I slip off the ladder and fall down, and old Gus has the entire weight of the refrigerator. And all his muscles are shooting out, and he wouldn't let go,
Abs of steel.
Abs of steel. That wasn't a good story.
No, it's a great story.
Was it
It's
all
a
right?
fabulous story.
So, I wouldn't say that. Returning to theaters nationwide, American Beauty. Nominated for 8 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. More nominations than any other film this year. American Beauty, rated R, starts Friday.
America Online new version.
48 Hours Mystery, Thursday.
We're here with Norm MacDonald. Have I said that before tonight?
Yeah.
Any good wishes for Dave before we move on here?
Yeah, the best wishes.
Man, the sincerity just flows off of you.
I love Dave.
I know you do.
And I love you. I'm glad to see you back on TV. You kept saying when you were leaving that one day you'd be back.
And the truth is stranger than fiction. Dave returns on Monday night. Don Rickles is still ahead, and our thanks to Norm MacDonald for joining us here tonight. Late show backstage at CBS TV City in Los Angeles. Continued success on the Norm Show.
Thank you, sir.
And continued success in your life.
Thank you very much. You too.
My pleasure, sir.
See you at the dog park.
See you at the dog park.